Welcome to the Optimum Insider. This is a series where we take you behind the scenes of our transformation journey. I'm Dennis Mathew, Chairman and CEO of Optimum. I'm really excited today to have Nate Edwards. He's our EVP of Network Services and head of our transformation office. Thank you so much for joining, Nate.
Thanks, Dennis.
Nate, it's been just a pleasure to work together over this past year. And we've shared a lot about how our journey and how we grew up. I know we both grew up in blue-collar homes and humble beginnings. And my father, he was an electrician that worked at SEPTA, which is a public transit authority, and he was a minister. And he taught me hard work, but he didn't give me a vision for what it would be like to work in corporate America. And it was really just working hard and meeting people along the way that helped kind of steer me in this direction. And I know you've had quite a journey. I think it included being an English teacher, included doing some frontline work as a technician. So I'd love to hear more. I think our audience would love to hear more about your journey and how you've kind of navigated your career.
Sure. I grew up in a single mom household. My dad passed when I was young. My mom was a secretary. So she worked really hard. And then at some point she got two jobs because, to make ends meet, it's hard as a single mom back then.
Yeah.
And so we just watched her. My brother and I have one older brother. We just watched her work ethic. She would tell us when times got tough, this will pass, just keep going through it, just find a way.
Yeah.
And so we learned that work ethic. And I think that is everything.
Yeah.
It's that willing to do what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it is what we learned from mom. And then I could never imagine corporate America. So I started teaching because I loved English and it connected with me. And then it was hard getting a teaching job. So a good friend of mine, Tom Paholsky, was one of the good buddy of mine, is critical in my career, said, why don't you get a job at the phone company? They're hiring. And just do that for a little while and then get your teaching job. 29 years later, here I am. It's been that work ethic of keep your head down, that blue collar focus, keep your head down, keep going. And throughout my career, I never applied for a job. I was always tapped and asked to go do this, go do this, go do this.
Well, you bring up a good topic because this whole notion, I know folks often discuss imposter syndrome, and folks are nervous about kind of stepping out of your comfort zone. Oh, am I going to be found out? And I remember I started at Comcast in my old company in internal audit, but I wanted to be in the business, and I had to go from one group to the next, and it was always butterflies in my stomach, and oh my goodness, I'm going to take this leap. You have people along the way that support you. It sounds like you've done something similar many times. So what would you tell folks that are maybe a bit gun shy about stepping out of their comfort zone and stepping into another role, which could ultimately be helpful in their career growth?
Yeah, I think you have to find that circle of people who believe in you, probably more than you believe in yourself. And just check to make sure, because you'll believe you don't have the capability every single time. But you want to check with them and make sure you validate, what's my superpower? What do I do well? And look back on your successes. Do you do it every time? It's that having that circle who can give you that confidence as well.
Yeah, we've talked on this series. It's so important to have coaches and mentors and folks that support you, and also not being afraid to ask questions and to be curious and to learn. And so you and I had talked before you joined for a bit about this opportunity and coming here and doing something new and different. What brought you here?
There were two things.
Yeah.
First, it was just complete alignment of all the leadership. We've got one mission, just turn this thing around. And it's something I love to do. I love transformations. I love turnaround. I've gravitated towards that. I've always been asked to do those things. So when the entire company is focused on one mission and everyone's aligned, I'm like, okay, this is going to be great. And the culture was fantastic. Great human beings. You put together a group of just superhumans and all focused on one thing. And it was big. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is big. If we do this thing, this is going to be something that we can look back on later and say, I was there when.